Sometimes I feel like I'm a marshmallow that looks like a human, by which I don't mean that I'm soft and sweet, even though I am. I mean that I am pretty fragile by nature. Just like a marshmallow is easily torn, melted, or dissolved, I am easily stressed out by even a small problem in life. But I don't want to be as delicate as a marshmallow. I want to be the one who's strong and resilient and can solve the problems rather than just dissolving in them. Maybe you feel the same, especially if you are going through a tough time where small and big problems start to pile. To become the person that I want to be, I read books and articles, listen to podcasts and lectures, I ask for advice, and of course, practice in my life. This video is what I wish I could have watched during those tough times. So now I'm giving it to you and maybe the future me. Disclaimer, this video is not going to tell you exactly what to do to solve your specific problems, but it is going to help you to become the person who can stay composed even when life is messy, and thus you can actually sit down and start to solve those problems. And in my opinion, this is a superpower that makes you more strong and confident, and it is what you can take with you throughout your entire life. So dare I say that it is more valuable than just solving one or two problems. Now, if you are going through a tough time or you are facing a lot of problems in your life, these are the things that I wish you know. The key number one is not freaking out about the problems. First, I want you to understand that problems are normal. A life without a problem is going to be deadly boring. Imagine playing a video game. There are no hurdles to overcome, no enemies to fight against, no puzzles to solve, and all the tasks can be completed without you to figure anything out. That would be ridiculous. Same as in life. We feel happy when we solve a problem, overcome an obstacle, or achieve something after a lot of struggles. I'm not saying that you should not appreciate the peaceful, ordinary life, but think about this. Which one makes you happier? You finally passed that exam that you spent days and nights to prepare for the last 6 months, or you just sit there. So having problems is normal, but frankly, we are emotional animals, and we feel discouraged when a problem arises. So how do you make yourself feel better? Here's what can help you. Find a person that you trust, and just describe the problem to them. Open the conversation like this. Hey, I don't feel very good recently because, there's a problem in my mind. Can I tell you the problem? And then you want to be honest and descriptive about what is actually happening and how do you feel. This is helpful in two ways. First, it makes you feel less lonely. Although you are just describing the problem, not asking for help in any sense, but letting another person to know what you are going through is impactful enough to stop you from feeling that I am so helpless and no one cares about me. And secondly, by describing the problem to another person, you are helping yourself to understand the problem more clearly. When you just ponder the problem in your mind, your brain processes the fragments of the problem spontaneously, which can confuse you and make you just feel worse. But when you have to verbalize the problem to another person, you start to put the fragments together in a more logical way. You will not be drowning in the chaotic thoughts and fears all by yourself. I've been using these methods in my life for big and small problems, and it is really helpful to me. Okay, but what if you can't find a suitable person to tell? Or you simply just don't want to show the problem and the vulnerability to another person. Although writing down the problem to yourself may work in a pinch, I still stress you to talk to another person. You can try to tweak the way you tell the problem. Maybe don't share every single details and the context, or maybe don't frame the problem as your own issue, but just as a standalone problem. Instead of saying, I have this problem, you can try to say, well, this is going to be terrible if it happens, and then try to describe the problem. I even find it helpful to frame my own problem into an anecdote and just talk about it over a coffee chat with a not even very close friend. And it's still helpful. The point is to take that problem out of your mind and try to put that in front of you and the other people. It will immediately make the problem less scary. And the key number two is to make the problem manageable. So now that you are not freaked out over the problems, it is time to sit down and try to actually solve the problem. But sometimes the problem is quite daunting. It's like I'm not scared, but when I look at it, it's messy. And I simply just don't think I can do anything with it. And then you may have analysis paralysis, be stressed out, and simply think that the problem is objectively insurmountable. So what we need to do at this point is to make the problem manageable and solve it bit by bit, once at a time. And trust me, every single problem that you will encounter in your life can be manageable and can be solved gradually. There's always something that you can do. There are 3 things that you can try to figure out. One is the lifespan of the problem. That is how long the thing will bother you. There's research showed that when we encounter something negative, our brain tends to overestimate the time that negative thing will last. Sometimes a problem is probably just going to be there for 2 days, but we feel like, oh my god, my whole life is ruined. For example, one morning when I was sitting in my kitchen, enjoying my breakfast as usual, and drinking my freshly brewed coffee. And then I suddenly felt something warm on my lap. And I looked down. Crap, I just dropped a huge dollop of coffee on my white shirt. And then there are some spilled on my white tablecloth. I was so irritated, especially when this happens in the very beginning of the day. And I felt so frustrated for the whole day when I was walking on the street, when I was eating my lunch. But the fact is that I can just put them in the wash and they'll be fine in 2 days. There's no reason that I should get so stressed out by a problem that's going to disappear in 1 or 2 days. And here is the relieving fact. Almost every problem has an endpoint. You just need to find it. Will the problem last for 40 minutes? Or 2 weeks? Or 6 months? And then you start to see that some problems don't deserve you worrying about all the time. Generally speaking, I think the longer the problem is going to last, the more important it is to be solved. And for some problem that is going to disappear in a short time, let's just be easy and don't think about it. 2 is the area of the influence. What will be affected by the problem and what will not. Sometimes we get too personal when a problem occurs. When you make one mistake, you feel like you're going to make mistakes all the time. And when you are unlucky for once, you think that you're going to be out of luck for your entire life. But that's just how we tend to overgeneralize things, even when it's completely not reasonable. If you failed one page, but that doesn't mean that you're terrible at everything in your work. And if your cousin's coworker doesn't like you, that doesn't mean you are a bad person. It is so easy to be constrained in one problem as if it's everything in the whole world. But when you zoom out, you start to see how far will the problem actually reach. Maybe you and your cousin's coworker are just not a good fit, but you're still loved by so many other people. And when you fail something, maybe it's just because you're not good at that one subject at that single moment. It doesn't affect the other aspects of your life or you as a person. So when a problem occurs, don't just diagnose that you are a failure or the world is terrible. No single problem will permeate into every corner of your life. Find the boundary and stop worrying about anything outside of it. And 3 is what you can do. When facing a problem, it is way more helpful to think about what you can do instead of thinking about who to blame. Is it because of you or is it because of the circumstance? It doesn't matter that much. What matters and what can actually make things better is to think about, okay, now what can I do? Well, you don't need to worry too much about the cause of the problem. You do need to distinguish the part that is in your control and the part that is not. And your job is to only think about the part that you have agency over. And it's actually pretty easy to do. It is easy to identify the things that you can take action on or make a decision on. And there will always be things that's out of our control. And you can just let them go without a concern. Because what is the point to worry about things that you cannot make any change anyway? Similarly, there will always be something that you can do, which means there's always a chance that you can take an action and make things better. Either way is great. By now, I hope that the problem is much more manageable and you start to see how you can solve it. Do this over and over like a practice and make it a part of yourself. And one day you will realize that you become the person who is strong and resilient and can solve messy problems without dissolving in them. And this is when you start to see more fun in your life. Because, as I said earlier, life is meant to be full of problems. And if you are going through a lot of them at the moment, I know it's not easy, but I want you to remember that you will make it through. I know you will because there's always something that you can do to make the situation better. Just not all at once. You won't get to the end immediately, but why would you want to get to the end immediately? What's fun about that? The fun is in the journey. The fun is every time you make progress, you solve a teeny tiny problem, you become a stronger person and more confident, and your life becomes richer. If you are going through a tough time, know that there are people who love you and wish you can make it through. You are not alone, even if some problem can only be solved by you. But that's your talent. That is your power. And that is what brings you a happy return. And this whole thing, the journey, is why we are here in the world. If you are going through a tough time, I hope this video can give you some inspirations and courage now, and anytime in the future when you need them. And that's everything for today's video. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you in the next one.